Good afternoon, and I warmly welcome you to the studios of Poly TV Ilaro. It's a beautiful new week. It's time for newspaper review and analysis. My name is Femi Afolabi, and in the studio this afternoon with me is Mr. Simon Fakeye. Mr. Fakeye is a publisher, is a veteran journalist, and of course, a public affairs analyst. You're welcome to the studios, Mr. Fakeye.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You see, the newspapers today come with a bold headline, majorly the reactions and updates on the new Electoral Act by the Senate. And of course, I want to take Tribune as our guide into the story. The Tribune says, Electoral Act, Senate to hold emergency sitting. NLC threatens mass action. Soon after the passage of the new Electoral Act that will midwife the next election, there have been reactions, state actors, NLC, and of course, the caucus committee, the minority caucus in the Senate, were all raising dust, all shouting that the Senate is not doing what it's supposed to do for Nigerians. What is your reactions to that?
Well, it's just that what I would describe as sincerity of purpose is lacking in Nigeria among the politicians. Because to me, there's no genuine reason for all these heated arguments. The e-transmission, the manual thing, and the clause by the Senate or the National Assembly that they should allow, they should give flexibility for INEC, that it is INEC that should determine what is best practice at that time. If they see reason why they should go for real-time e-transmission, fine. If the situation demands for manual transmission of the results, good. Now that the opposition are crying foul, that it's like the ruling party using the Senate, or the Senate listening to the voice of the ruling party, the presidency, they want to use the avenue to allow rigging of the election. So that's why I say I don't see much thing there, because the two systems, the two methods, to me, the two of them can be manipulated. Both the manual and the e-transmission. We are Nigerians, and as I believe, we are quite different set of people on the surface of this earth. So we can do virtually anything. So, well, for the Senate, since the crying has becoming louder, maybe to douse the tension, they can just agree to the e-transmission real time. Let's see how it goes. But I'm sure it won't favor us. But on one condition, they should include it in that bill, that if real-time transmission will be adopted, then whatever happens to some states or polling booths where there's no stable network service, maybe the results of such area will be cancelled or will be suspended. I wouldn't know. There must be an agreement on what comes out of areas, polling booths, or units where the network service is poor. Because that is the present situation. We can't deceive ourselves. The stable Nigeria, we've been experiencing unstable power supply. We have network service failure. If I just have to be reserved, but I'm sure it is so common in recent days. So by the time we get to 2027, I'm sure the traffic on those networks will be so heavy and demanding that there is tendency, high rate of network failure. So Nigerians, in our own sincere conscientious, I think we just have to think of what is good for this country. But if majority, especially the opposition, insists that we should go for retransmission, no problem. But based on those factors, what will happen to them? Are they going to be cancelled, or there's going to be re-election, or maybe such areas there's going to be some subtraction and all of that. So the Senate should ensure that such clause is inserted so that there won't be much problem when we get to that, when the time comes.
Even the fact that Nigeria is growing technologically, we are adopting new technologies to moderate our lives here and there. There are still communities, rural communities in this country where the network expansion has not gotten to.
You're right.
We still have communities where there is no internet facilities, yes, and they depend on the nearest urban center, yeah, to communicate and sure, to do whatever. So in this type of situation, of course, there are wards, electoral wards and polling units across that particular community we are talking about. So that means they will not take part in the next election.
So that is the point I was raising, that politicians to think twice. They should just try to be patriotic, at least for this particular matter. So there's no reason for us to continue arguing on this, create unnecessary problem for ourselves. There are serious economic challenges that we need to face, that the Senate and the presidency has to find lasting solution. So this issue of transmission or no transmission, they know themselves now. They know how they do it. Yes. So that's why I said these two systems is capable to be used as a medium of rigging. So they know how they do it. So we are just begging them, appealing to them that they should please be patriotic so that this country will move forward.
Okay, let's move forward. Another minor story on the front page of the Tribune newspaper says IPOB cancels Monday's sit-at-home. During the weekend, we read that Nnamdi Kanu, from his incarceration in Sokoto State, where he is, he issued a statement that the sit-at-home order he gave in 2021 should be cancelled. And I think people are responding, his followers or people at Southeast, they are responding to it. What do we make of that? Mm-hmm. If government could not achieve that kind of a feat, and somebody that is incarcerated is given order and it is being respected.
That is where I don't agree. I've tried to search for an official statement from Kanu Nnamdi. I couldn't see it. So maybe the people leading the front for him has just used that as a cover-up. Okay. I believe that Governor Soludo's position, that is either they lose their shop's ownership right, or they open shop on every Monday. Maybe that's his stand made the major becomes the major reason why IPOB, the one at home, has to retrace their step and agree with Mr. Governor. So I don't agree that it was Kanu who issued that statement from prison. No, okay. I haven't seen an official statement. So I believe that it was a cover-up by his members at home, who realized that the way Governor Soludo and others in the Southeast are going about that sit at home will not favor them. And much so, I think the elites among them could realize also that this thing economically is destroying them. Other states like Lagos, where majority of them trade, has stable daily marketing. But at home, where they are trying to build, there is economic sabotage. So maybe some of them have to reason with them that we can't continue, in addition to the position of the governor, who insisted that henceforth sit-at-home must be put to an end. So, based on that, Kanu, I haven't seen any official statement. I believe that the Governor Soludo and others have prevailed on them to ensure that that sit at home come to an end.
Okay, we move to the front page of Punch newspaper. There is a minor story on the front page, though it's political. Makinde Wike camp set for war at PDP headquarters. Makinde Wike camp sent for showdown at PDP headquarters. Today, the PDP headquarters is supposed to come alive. It's supposed to kind of following the order of the Federal High Court in Oyo State that the headquarters should be open. So the two camps are set to assume ownership or leadership at the PDP headquarters. So this paper is projecting into maybe there will be another furore because the last time such an incident happened, there were crises.
Yeah. The PDP, I like to see them as alternative, or as an alternative to the ruling party. But the way they are managing their affairs is calling for serious concern. This is a supposed opposition that is planning to replace the incumbent government. And all they can portray, they can give us is problem of a problem. A party, an opposition without strong or reliable leadership. Is this how they will continue to do even when they get to, when they win the election? They should take a leave from the ruling party. Whether President Tinubu is strategic or not, whether he's political in nature or not, the man has been able to manage APC to such an extent that even during the last electioneering, when the president was to some extent, as some of us could affirm, there was misunderstanding. The ruling party, the government, was against its own candidate, trying always to sideline him, the present president. But instead of seeing them going to court, creating chaos, or crying foul all the way, such thing was not allowed. The party was structurally guided, such that a consensus candidate was produced at the end of the day, and an election held, and winner emerged. We expected the same thing from the opposition, the main opposition, which is PDP. And as we speak, some months to the general election, we have two factions. No reliable candidates. So it is a bad signal for Nigeria. It is high time the opposition, the PDP, arranged their house so that they could provide or present themselves as a reliable opposition. Otherwise, there's problem. The same thing go on with AD. So if Wike as a governor, Wike as a federal minister, yes, more or less a governor, and Makinde, another governor with such experiences, and now they are having problem reasoning together, reaching an agreement. As simple as that. What is their interest? What is it? It means they have an ulterior motive. Ulterior motive that could be described as personal, which cannot be favorable to the entire masses. So there's a problem. I think somebody should tell them that is either they come up as a reliable alternative or opposition to Nigerian masses, or they just they should all deploy to APC, where they will be able to be managed effectively for the benefit of Nigeria.
Okay, let's take this economic report from the front page of Guardian newspaper. Bank of Industry secures CBN's approval for non-interest banking. Now, BOI, Bank of Industry, want to do what the commercial banks are doing, giving out loans, non-interest loans to member. Maybe this time around, maybe for industrial growth.
Well, you agree with me that there are some unsaid clauses in such presentation. I love it. All of us will like it because it is not interest, and we know the level, the rate, the interest rate in Nigeria presently, and a sector is coming telling us that there is a loan without interest. We all know that underneath there is a form of kind of what can we describe it? But something has to be given out.
The terms and agreements.
The terms and agreement. So it's good because to some extent it has its own advantage. So by that, it's a welcoming idea in view of the high interest rates we are experiencing presently, the effect on our economy, and the efforts that the presidency is putting in to ensure that Nigeria's economy stabilizes.
Okay, let me tie a story to that one that we read from the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. I'm going back to from Guardian newspaper. I'm going back to Vanguard now. There's a story on the masthead which says manufacturers record 1.8 trillion naira unsold goods as demand slump. This is an economy where government is trying to upgrade and make good, and the manufacturers are now recording on-sale products. There are various warehouses are stocked with the unsold products, and they are recording loss. Manufacturers record 1.8 trillion naira unsold goods as demand slumps. So what do we make of that in our economy?
You know, over time I've been concerned about the rates of our exchange, the naira-dollar exchange rates. It bothers me a lot. Why do we have our naira-dollar exchange rate at 1,500, 1,400? And this is just a tag that we experienced just within months from 2023 to early 2024. Before President Buhari, late former president, left in the office, the dollar naira was, I think, 400 naira. Now it is 1,500. So there's no way our manufacturing sector will not have unsold good because of the high price. And it is not their fault. It is, as Yoruba will say, iranita. It is what you buy that will determine the price at which you sell. So these manufacturers rely majorly on imported raw materials. And for them to make such imports, they must pay in dollar, exchange naira at the rate of 1,500 to import those goods. So when the goods come, definitely it's going to be at the high side of the masses. So that is mainly a factor that is responsible for this. And other factors are, one, this unstable power supply. Most of these manufacturing companies relies on diesel, and we know the price of diesel compared to 2023. Okay, now this unstable network service that we're saying is another factor, and in recent times there have been increase in tariff price. So all these factors put together have definitely created an increase in commodities price. And with the economic situation, our naira rate at 1,500 to dollar, the PMS price at 800, 900, 1,000 naira per liter, how will people be able to trade and get enough profit and be able to afford those, let's say, household materials and other things? So government should please look into this and see how they can be able to reduce this naira-dollar disparity. It is high time they found something to do about it.
Beyond reduction of the naira-dollar disparity, what do you think government can do to rescue this manufacturing sector from going into total collapse? Because they are already in debt.
I wouldn't say they should let them get access to more loan, because the more the loan, the more problem it's created, because this naira dollar issue is a serious issue. Then the fuel, they rely on diesel. There's no stable power supply. Government should ensure there is stable power supply. It is cheaper than the diesel and measurement, power generating plant maintenance, coupled with bad roads from the location of the factory to the market. So all this put together is a lot of problem.
Okay, I go back to the front page of a Guardian newspaper. There's a minor report there. Article, no economic sense in reviving failed refineries. A few days ago, we read that the current leadership at the NNPCL, Engineer Ojulari, describing Port Harcourt refinery as a waste. So, and Atiku is now saying no sense in reviving a failed industry, a failed refinery, to the tune of $1.6 billion.
It is unfortunate that his position over the years has now to some extent justified. It's known as Mr. Privatization. That is all he has interested in. So it's correct to some extent. But another area is that of all those companies that he, as the vice president, then privatized, how many of them are functioning today? In the hands of the buyers. So there's a serious problem. Maybe something is wrong with the refineries. Former President Obasanjo has said it some times ago that they can't function. That during his time, he invited the management and they assured him that it can't function. That even if they insist that it won't bring about profits. Whichever way, there's another contradiction. I think I heard that about 21 million something million naira was embezzled by the former CEO, Mr. Mele Kyari. So, was the amount from government or the money generated from some of their productions? I'm confused. So let us know the source of that money, because 21 million is a huge amount of money. Even if it is at a loss, it's a good money. So what happened? Okay, the refineries that are not working, this is technology and technological and digital era. So see, why I'm not convinced, I don't agree that refinery cannot function. Something is wrong somewhere. Because if I should go by what the former president has said, most of the privatized ones are not functioning. So if this refinery join the league of unfunctioned privatized company also, so where do we go from there? So Ojulari, well, I know he's a loyalist to the president and he must have tried to do him a favor by finding a lasting solution to that and by coming out to say that it cannot yield is an issue calling for serious concern.
Okay, by way of rounding up, because time is not our friend, there is a minor report on the front page of a Tribune newspaper. Insecurity, Tinubu receives commander of U.S. African Command. Amidst this crisis in Kwara, in Katsina, and Borno State, and of course in Edo State recently, people are calling for the review or revamping of architecture, the military architecture in Nigeria and all whatnot. And we had during the weekend, President Tinubu received the commander of the African Command of US base in Africa. So at least that strengthened the relationship between Nigeria and, of course, United States to combat insecurity. What is your take on that?
My take is a good process or meeting So I'm happy such meeting held, and that is what we'll be calling on Mr. President to do. This is just about a percentage of it. Now he met with the commander of African military head of the US. Yes, more or less, directly or indirectly, meeting with President Trump. Good one for us. It is an official presence of America in Nigeria. So it's a plus for us. That bilateral relationship is being cemented. Then in terms of the outcome, I hope there's going to be an improvement of our security architecture, in security output. But I will implore the President and the American to please consider one thing. What happened in Kwara was as a result of insufficient or unavailability of security presence in those local communities. So why we don't have soldiers and trained personnel that can be present in our interior communities? I think they can try to get 2 or 1 individual, reliable individuals from each town. The local government can facilitate that. Let them be trained either by this troop for rural policing, let me put it that way. So that this 2 or 1 individual will return home and train others. It will now become train others. So that at the local level, we will be conscious, we will become our security for ourselves. I think the DSS director, Mr. Adiola, the other day said it. He encouraged community policing, that people should gather themselves, come to them, approach them for training, so that they will return home to safeguard themselves, to protect themselves. That we should stop thinking that Nigerian soldiers, Nigerian police, or Nigerian security should be everywhere. This consumes a huge amount of capital. So let's start from our community. Let's each town be conscious of its own security. Let's create a guard of security from our town, from our villages, so that we'll be able, and they will be stationed at strategic areas or entries into the town. The way these people are intruding, coming in, it's dangerous. So this American personnel or troop can be of serious advantage for at least intelligence gathering and training of Nigerians to protect themselves, the way the Israelis are doing. Nearly all of them, both male and female, have become soldiers. They carry arms. Yes, they know the fatality of their environment. The same thing has happened in Nigeria. We should stop relying on security operatives. Everybody should now become security personnel.
Thank you very much for your thought. What Mr. Simon is trying to say is that we should be our own security. If you hear something, say something. That is the essence. If we are able to assist our military or our security personnel, even if it's intelligence gathering, give them information, we will reduce the attacks on us on a daily basis. Thank you very much once again for finding time to be here.
My pleasure.
Well, that is the program this afternoon. We'll be back with a fresh edition tomorrow. Good afternoon.